I'll call this meeting of the Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners workshop to order. Appreciate everybody showing up today. We hope we make some progress and learn a little bit in the meantime. We got quite a few things to go over today. Are we going to go in the order on what's the agenda? Mental health first. We went that yesterday.
If it's all right, we'll call it out as they're
Sure.
as we're ready. Do we want to start with prayer and pledge?
We didn't.
We can. We usually don't on the workshop, but we can.
I think we should pray about that.
All right,
Yes, we need some prayer today.
will you lead us?
I will absolutely.
That's all my judging.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord God, I just thank you just for the opportunity to be a part of this community. Lord, I pray as we get into this workshop, Lord, that you'll give each one of us guidance and wisdom. Lord, show us the things that we need to do in order to make this county better, Lord, and to ease the burden of taxes on our citizens the best that we can. Lord, we just thank you and praise you for all that you do for us. We just ask that you continue to protect our first responders and law enforcement, the EMS and paramedics, Lord, the soldiers around the world that continue to keep us free. We just thank you and praise you, Lord, just for all that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 You're the flag? Yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Cos, you say you'll just call it out in order?
Yes, sir. First up, we have Swanee Valley Leagues here to present.
These are in our worksheet thing you gave us.
It's me. On page 3. How are you today? Good.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and board members. My name is Kathleen Smith. I'm the Gilchrist County League President for Swanee Valley Gilchrist League. On behalf of the Gilchrist League, we'd like to thank you for your continued support for our youth. The league is requesting the same amount as we have in the previous years, $25,000 to the general fund for operations and $25,000 into the capital fund for improvement. Again, we thank you for your support.
Is that a raise for all the directors or?
No, sir.
We appreciate all, because a lot of us have participated in the past and realize how much time and sacrifice, and thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Most of us have grandkids that are participating out there now, so we do appreciate all you do for the community and the kids, and my grandkids absolutely love it, so.
Thank you. We're happy to have them.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Smith. The good thing is she can put 100% raise in for her because it's still 0.
That's right. I knew that. I was just seeing what you were saying.
Any percentage of 0 always works out.
That's right.
Next up, we have mental health, and Meridian's here to present. You're going to find in your books on page 55.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Lauren Cohn. I'm the CEO of Meridian. And we thank you also for your continued support and partnership. I do want to start by acknowledging, you might notice we look and feel a little bit different in this year's annual report because we have changed our brand and our logo just a little. Instead of Meridian Behavioral Healthcare, we have moved to Meridian Healthcare. And so just want to highlight that there's so much more that we do. We believe that behavioral healthcare is healthcare, and so moving towards business helps sort of move that forward. So you may notice a little bit different look in this year's annual report. I believe you have a copy of this as noted. I just want to run through some highlights for you. I know you're well aware of our history and longstanding here, so I won't belabor that history lesson on the origin of Meridian, but we are celebrating over 50 years in providing these critical services to our communities. As part of our new Meridian Healthcare brand, we've established some of our values that spell out hope. So we've got hope, empathy, accountability, resilience, and teamwork. So this is what we're working to deliver day in and day out to the residents. We have a wide continuum of care, offering everything on the prevention end of services, education to traditional outpatient services to residential primary care and mental health and substance use treatment in a variety of settings. I want to specifically focus and highlight on the utilization for Gilchrist County residents for this past fiscal year, which ended in June 30th. This is information through May. We served 351 Gilchrist County residents, receiving a total of 2,334 telehealth services through May. Some of the other information, we have some data and details on the clients that we're serving, the individuals that are receiving those services. We have served the vast majority are 18 to 64, but 14.5% are in that 12 to 17 range. And we've got 6% in the 6 to 11 range, so kind of the young kids. What clients are saying about our services? We have some information here on client satisfaction, and we've got some information on improved functioning. So it's not enough that clients say they like our services or are getting better, but what is it really doing for them? And that's one of the things we want to highlight, that 75% of adults and 74% of children that we serve reported an overall reduction in symptoms and feeling better. That keeps us engaged in community services and staying in the community, active participants with our family and community connections. We also have some information on the services that were provided to the residents. With adults, we have 25 clients receiving acute care, 6 children. Outpatient, we've got 339 individuals and 88 kids. On our medication-assisted treatment program, we have 88 individuals. And our community action team, which serves kids and families, we have 11 kids and families served. For our outpatient psychiatric medication program, we've got 158 adults and 46 kids. Residential treatment, we have 10 clients combined with 7 adults and 3 kids. And our mobile response team, we've got 13 individuals and families, 13 adults, and 12 kids. We've got some information that we've provided on specific funding information and details. The majority of clients that we see are at or below the federal poverty guidelines. 80% of individuals served in Gilchrist County were at or below the individual poverty guidelines. 2% of services provided were ineligible for any subsidy to address the cost of care. So we're doing what we can to identify available funds to help support the cost of treatment. 51% of the services provided in the past fiscal year were paid for with indigent care funding from the state and the county. 22% were covered by Medicaid. 22% of individuals had some form of third-party insurance, but that insurance only covered 9% of the services that were needed to support the individuals in treatment. So, as you know, getting match funding is a part of our federal and state requirements. This year, we're requesting to keep our amount the same for this fiscal year, keeping the match at $62,521 for our request for support. I'm happy to answer any questions on our services, any questions on the information provided today or in general.
With the fast growth in Florida and you having many counties, are you seeing these numbers that you treat go up drastically, or?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's always a demand for treatment, and you know, we wish we would be out of business, right? Because folks wouldn't need it, but we are seeing an increase in demand, and we're working to expand the types of services we're offering. Specifically here, we have some new initiatives related to medication-assisted treatment, as well as court diversion programs that we're working on expanding and growing for this year, because we're seeing that as an increased need.
You know, since we've kindly got over the hump of COVID, if you've seen things drop off, or have they just kept right on going?
Well, we're seeing things keep going. I mean, ebb and flow, and I think the types of services that people need evolve and change. We're constantly seeing an increased need for medication-assisted treatment and treatment supports for individuals who are involved in the criminal justice system. So that is something that it continues to be a focus for us to help with those diversion and treatment programs, keep people out of the criminal justice system and in the community where they can thrive with the right support. And so I think, yes, the needs are growing, but the types of needs, evolve and change.
So this is pretty much a mandate, isn't it?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a mandate, but, Meridian is a service that, as she mentioned, it does require a match from the local communities that they serve. And so, I believe in order, for Meridian to continue in our area, it somewhat requires us to continue to fund.
It sounds like we're getting a pretty good deal for the match we're providing. We appreciate you holding the match the same.
Thank you. We know it's a very challenging year for a lot of communities. So we are looking just to keep our match consistent with last year. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the collaboration of the county, law enforcement. The partnerships that we have here are really important to us. And we couldn't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? Thanks so much.
Mr. Chair, if we could, I do need to go back a couple slides, to the fund balance policy, target page. Right there. So we did have a change from yesterday, as we were reviewing, the road department numbers for this year and doing our projections. We recognized that, and this was part of the loan discussion we had yesterday, we got to looking at it, a little deeper. And it's actually, in order for us to maintain the fund balance policy in the road department for next year, because of the changes that we recognized, we're actually going to need to, rather than transfer 1.2 million, we're actually going to have to transfer 1,450,000. So with that in mind, our current deficit in the general fund at this point is 1,293,654.
So instead of 1,200, you're gonna go 1,450, 1,450,000.
That's correct. That's what would be needed, outside of any, cuts to expenditures. If we were to cut expenditures, we could reduce that transfer, within the road. But, as I mentioned, based on our current, projected expenditures and projected revenues, that's what would be required in order to keep us in compliance. So, before we moved on, I just wanted to mention that change.
Can you also mention, I know, Richard sent a summary of the question we had yesterday related to.
I can, yes, sir. So yesterday it was asked how much is the FRS and insurance increase, as well as it was asked what would raises look like. Now, these are numbers that are strictly based on the board departments. It doesn't take constitutional officers into account. Obviously, we didn't have time to get those numbers from the other constitutional officers in such a short period of time. But for all board departments, the FRS increase for this year is a little over $82,000. It's $82,204. The health insurance increase is $90,474.
Is that just for the board departments also?
That's just for the board, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All of these numbers are strictly board numbers. A 1% raise, again, just based on board departments, a 1% raise would be around $86,000. A $1 raise would be just under $331,000.
How much?
331. The 1% raise, basically whatever percentage you choose to go, you just multiply that,
Right.
times the number. So if you did 3%, it'd be around what, 250,000. So again, those were the numbers that we were able to put together, since last night.
I can't remember where I heard it, but I thought I heard should include the constitutional officers. It would be basically double
That's a general,
general.
general
So
rule.
I was thinking with, if that's the case with FRS insurance and a 2% pay increase, that ends up being around 500,000 roughly
Roughly.
increase
Yes, sir.
right out the gate. So
Now, the FRS increase, when you consider law enforcement, probably going to be a little bit higher number, than a little bit more than double, because the majority of those are high risk, as opposed to the vast majority of, probably half, roughly half of the board employees, would be under the high risk. So it's going to be a little bit higher, from the sheriff's perspective. But
thank you.
Our constitutional officer salaries are set, they pretty much tell us what the state tells us what they get, so
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
yeah,
correct.
constitutional, right?
Yes, sir.
And so nothing yet on what their raise would be?
No, sir, not at this point. That number, unfortunately, they don't usually get that until sometimes late September. So it's hard to know when they're gonna do it. It's been as early as late August before, but again, we're just kind of at their mercy whenever they decide to send it. So,
Yeah, just thinking about, we looked at rollback yesterday, around 500,000 or so increase with the rollback. And so with these three items, you're gonna be around that number to start with.
that's correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. So with that in mind, do we want to just move on to the sheriff?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Sheriff's going to be on pages 79 through 95.
Good afternoon, Bobby Schultz, Sheriff, Gilchrist County. Before I get started, I just want to say, what a good-looking board of county commissioners we have. I appreciate diligence and your wherewithal to do your job.
We appreciate all your work and all your employees.
I am a much better man being able to say that I'm here in front of you. Well, we're obviously here for a purpose, and this is to present my proposed budget for this year. And my number should be about the same as what Mr. Romans is. But you should have an attachment of a letter, and I'm just going to read through that. The increase of this year's budget submission are the result of increases in cost for an additional correctional deputy position, an investigator, and 2 civilian positions. The accreditation or the civilian positions be for accreditation and finance, computer updates, cybersecurity requirements, auto fleet insurance, bonding, communication services, contractual services, and office supplies. Increases in jail utility services, inmate food, and jail equipment have been included as well. The total amount that we'll be requesting is a total of 8.88%. And for a total this year of, I'm pretty sure I'm saying $9,737,456, which is roughly an increase of $794,374 from last year. That sound about right? Yeah, and again, that's a 8.8%, and that's just requesting 4 new positions, 2 civilians and 2 certified positions, which we need to address. With that being said, we all have tough jobs here. I just want you to know that I don't envy your jobs. We kind of tongue in cheek, we talk about money, and it's not a joking matter when you're talking about citizens' money, and I appreciate your due diligence on that. And it's not lost on me as well. I understand the financial situation that we're in. We've been in it for the last 13 years that I've been sheriff. The board and the citizens have all been very supportive of our needs. I wouldn't be here asking for things that I don't need, that I don't think is a must. So with that, I'm willing to work with the board any way that I possibly can, and just move forward and do what we can to keep Gilchrist County as safe as we possibly can with the financial considerations that we have. With that, if anybody doesn't have any questions, that would be done with my presentation.
Okay. I noticed, last year you had 76 full-time and 4 part-time, and this year you got 84, so you gained the, correction, I mean, jail people that you got.
I think, and I'm not sure if, Mr. Owens has on his, we also, there might be a little bit of a difference because of retirement, is that in our final submission? So it will be a little. The rate. Okay. And I believe my CFO, Sergeant, Cruz said that we went on our insurance rate, we went a little high on that. It's not gonna offset, but we went a little higher before we had the, because my part of it was from, May when we, or June when we submitted. So there will be a little bit of a difference.
So your insurance is in here already?
Yeah, I put this completely in there. This is Sergeant Cruz, my CFO for these, the insurance rates that we submitted were based off of 9.5%.
Right.
Through your instructor too, which I believe is a little higher than what the actual rate would be for the.
Are any raises in this?
We have we do not have, the COLA, cost of living. What we do have in there is what we negotiated last week for a step plan.
But you
Last
have
year.
your step plan.
We have a step plan, but not cost of living, no.
But we don't do the step plan anymore, do we? Okay. I was asking Mr. Crosby. Yes, I know we don't. Is there any way you could do with 3 instead of 4, just to help us out?
The honest answer is I will do whatever the board tells me to do. And obviously, if there comes a situation where I think it's, critical, which they are critical, I would argue our point, the counterpoint, but at this point, these are things that we believe that we need. But however, if the board sees fit that we only get 3, then we will make do. We'll keep doing what we've always done, which is we'll move forward doing what we can with what we have.
I noticed almost every department has up their utility. Yours, as far as corrections, I'm looking, for 24-25, utility service was 40,000 and it jumped to 70,000. That's because of the new jail and everything?
Well, there's no way that we could have forecast that. I think we should probably.
No, you can't forecast.
Could speak to that, but yes, but we have, I think our electrical bill and some of the other utilities were a little higher than what any of us could have said. The meals that we received are a little more. I know that, the county has graciously got a grant for us to harden our administrative building. And I think that maybe there's a chance that maybe through energy efficiency, that might lower that down some. But as of right now, that's what they forecast was roughly that 40,000 difference.
Trying to do a projection.
It's a little hard because we've only been in there since January, so we really don't know what the full year is going to be. And they're cognizant, they're still learning, we're still working on some of the bugs.
Right.
But that's probably what we got to look forward to on the new jail. A lot more area to heat and cool, which is by law, I'm required to keep it at certain temperature.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Anybody got any more questions?
Not just, all of us, as you know, support you and your folks and what you do for us and how you protect our community. And it goes without saying all that, I'm sure, but on the other side, we're, looking at trying to keep our taxes down, and you understand all that. And the pressure, and encouragement we're getting at the state level to roll back, and we've got to come up with something maybe in between. I don't know where we'll be, but it's a difficult challenge for sure.
And I don't envy your job, and some people say they don't envy mine. There's a couple of law enforcement officers in here, and I think we would all agree to here that the county has done us very well. And I think for the right reasons, not because I'm asking for it, because there's a need for it.
Yeah.
I've said many times before, if you don't have law enforcement, then the freedoms that we have won't exist. And I think we've done well. I think Gilchrist County you should be very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And it's not me. It's the men and women that work at that sheriff's office, just like all the other department heads and constitutional officers will say. We just get to be the mouthpiece, and sometimes we get the credit and sometimes we get the blame. But I don't envy your position. I just, again, I will reiterate, if it wasn't a necessity, I wouldn't be before. And I think I've earned enough credit with the Board of County Commissioners as well as citizens to know I'm just not asking. If you look on personnel services alone, I mean, you're probably represents almost 90% of that budget. So if you look at what we're doing, and if you look at the calls of services are up, but our crime is down. Major crimes are down. And that's attributed to those men and women, and it's because you're giving us the tools and we're able to retain our people. So we're not having to be a revolving door. It'll happen again, it may happen this year. Everybody else's money's going up. You know, I just got told that the University of Florida Police Department's going $65,000 a year. We're never gonna keep up with that, but we can keep what we have. And I think we should keep. We have some good men and women that work for us all across the county spectrum. And, all that I say long-winded, so, but thank you for what you're doing, and we will do with what you give us. And if there's a point I think that we need to discuss more, I will be 100% here to discuss that, but we're very reasonable. We understand the situation.
I think y'all do a fantastic job. You
Yeah,
do.
y'all do a great job.
And the job you do sends a strong message that you don't allow stuff in Gilchrist County. And some of the things y'all do, sets a real good example for people that don't come to Gilchrist County because you won't get away with it. I mean, it really does send a real strong message. I know my neighborhood, we don't have any problems really. But it's the kind of law enforcement that we have. But, y'all do a great job. What people need to understand is, just like you said, every year the cost of doing business goes up. We can realize that in our household, but even here, the short time we've been talking, 30 minutes, state retirement's gone up, insurance has gone up, cost of employees has gone up, everything just continually. You're budgeting your utility service from 40,000 to 70, that's a $30,000 increase, but you have no control over that. And when we try to budget things, we have to get people to try to understand, well, your budget went up, yeah, because every aspect of our doing businesses went up. And so we somehow we have to work it in there and make it happen.
If my undersheriff was here, he'd probably taken that book and be pulling me off the stage real quick. But a lot of things that people don't understand too is, we have, technology, all the advances that we have is fantastic and it's needed. And so we're not just using, a pterodactyl on a tablet. We have to have technology. And unfortunately for all of us, in order to keep up with that technology, there's contractual obligations and money and updates come for the price. And it does stink now. It's right when you think that you have something and you're like, okay, we're going to take X amount of dollars the following year to come and say that version is now obsolete. You've got to upgrade. And so if you don't upgrade for X amount of dollars, it's going to cost you a lot more if you don't.
Yeah.
And that's what, I mean, I think all across the county, I think all I know Mr. Crosby and I have talked about it. The other constitutional officers can talk about it. Service comes with a price, and it comes down to really, what are you willing, as a whole, not you, but collectively the county, are you willing to do to make sure we give these men and women the tools that they need to keep you safe? And again, we will do whatever we can with whatever you give us. I'm just very appreciative of what you have done. If you'd asked me 15 years ago that we'll be where we are now, I probably would have said no. A lot has come if we have a great governor who has helped us out tremendously. But even that, as we've all talked about, is scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Well, you just think about the new jail. I mean, we obviously had to have a new jail, but look at all the additional expenses that came with it. Your light bill went up, your required, employment went up for people to work there. You're arresting more people or you're housing more people. So your demand for services has gone up. So every aspect of that new jail that we've got now, increased your budget quite a bit. So that's the part of doing business.
Well, everything requires attention at some point, and unfortunately with what we do, money is a driving force.
Yep.
And we need it in order to keep up and to do things and keep what we have, other than the jail staffing. Give or take a couple positions, I don't think I've added anything other than the jail. We've been able to rob Peter Pay Paul and it's worked for us. This is why the 4 positions I'm asking for is time I try to start adding on to it. But that being said, if we don't have the financial capability to handle it, then you know, some of us will keep doing 15, 16 jobs each, like everybody else in the county.
What is your, just curious, with your step plan, what percentage is each step?
It's roughly 2%,
2%.
roughly. Is that about? Is that right?
Sheriff, all I got to say is, you know what we're up against, trying to balance the budget. And I don't wanna be the one to say, I ain't gonna give you money for this, I just want for you to go back and cut where you think you can and bring us back a fair minute, because I don't wanna say, no, I ain't giving you this, I ain't giving you that. Cause I know you got a need, but you know what we up against, and we ask you to work with us.
But you represent the citizens like I do, so I do understand you're good stewards of your money, and whatever advice or whatever needs that the board sees fit, that they say that I need to, then, you know, I'll do what I gotta do, and then again, I'll get to the point where we can discuss if we need to discuss further, but absolutely, I'm willing to work. Everybody in my agency is willing to work with everybody, we're all taxpayers. Probably 85% of our employees at the sheriff's office, contrary to popular belief that everybody from outside of our county work here, that's not true. Probably 80% of our people live and work right here, so we are having to pay taxes too. So obviously, we want to make sure we're good stewards of everybody's money.
Do you know what your electric bill was last month versus the month before?
Last month was just over 7,500.
Right.
Sorry, the utility bill is still just a speculation of what we're anticipating the new jail will cost. I won't have that truly figured out until we're in there.
So it was around 8,000 last month, your electric bill.
We're gonna need a good year in that building to know what it's going to cost.
The new jail,
We'll be over summer and have a mild winter, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to,
that's right.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, be able.
Well, that's kind of
to stand
the situation we're in. If we see that we've overestimated, then obviously next year we'll figure out a way, we'll cut where we can cut.
Hopefully your maintenance costs will be less because the building's new. Hopefully you won't be sending, $300,000 to other counties to care for our inmates, to be able to do it in-house. So, we're gonna do what we can. We appreciate everything you do and your whole staff, and as we look through the budgets, may have to make a cut here and there, but we'll do the best we can for you.
We appreciate it, and we're blessed to be able to work in Gilchrist County. We want to work, can't cut ourselves thin. I will advocate where I need to advocate. This is a true and accurate depiction of what I think that we need. But with that being said, we will all work together to try to get to the common ground and do what we can and make.
I've toured the jail several times, and a lot of people don't realize too, is the mandates, you know, and talking to some of your employees. You can't put this one with this one, you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do that, and all the things that the state requires you to do, there again, that's personnel and money. To just do what they mandate that you do. It's not, I want this, it's you gotta do it.
A lot of people, they do understand it, but you gotta reiterate, you gotta underscore it. It's like on the maintenance of the jail. Mr. Crosby folks are the ones that does all the maintenance there, so he could tell you how much it's costing, and I think other than manpower, they're probably wore slack to death because they're having to maintain a brand new building that's high maintenance.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it probably is offset significantly by what we would have to put into that old jail. With all things old, it has to be replaced with new at some time.
Just mention on a little different subject, you help us tremendously in Tallahassee when you go up there and the meetings you have, and we have priorities legislatively. I know I've seen, and we appreciate that help.
Yeah.
But we're all in this together. One team, one mission truly isn't just related to the sheriff's office. We all need to work together. We're a family, and family fights for family. And you know, for as long as I'm sheriff, I'll continue doing. I'm sure for as long as y'all are serving where you're at, and the rest of the folks on the stand here, we'll all work together. If there's something I can do, all it is conversations. That's all we can do. The answer is always no unless you ask. So
A lot of this money we get from appropriations, I've witnessed Bobby up there fighting for us, I really have, and he has some influence, it makes a difference. We appreciate
I
everything.
know you've gone with, 4-H on 4-H day, and I've seen you in meetings with legislators, and all that helps.
We all have to work together, and it's because of all of us. Our jobs are easier, not easy, but easier when you get to work in a county that really appreciates what you do for the most part. And, you know, we don't have we're as close to perfect as anywhere in the country. And if by working together, we can only make it stronger. We can get past all these financial concerns. I know Mr. Newvis over there. Oh, but I appreciate it. And so y'all know, I appreciate Mr. Crosby and Mr. Newton and y'all's staffs for everything y'all do. Y'all help us tremendously. We'll get through all of this. Whatever you need me to do, we will do. And if there's a point of contention, we're all professional enough, we can talk about it. I just don't see there's nothing that we can't get through. I really don't.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Bobby.
you, Bob, we appreciate it.
Next up, we have the property appraiser on pages 96 through 117.
Good afternoon,
Good
Raymond
evening.
Leggett,
How are you?
Gilchrist County Property Appraiser. I appreciate y'all putting me behind Bobby over the years. Picking on him, but, as you can see, I've, got a 2.06% increase. And basically 90% or 95% of that is, insurance increase. The retirement rate increases, and I have a longevity, 25-year longevity this year and a 20-year longevity this year. So that's basically what my increases are.
Do you have a step plan for your employees? Okay, so this was with no,
This is no increases in
it's
salary.
just, but you did include your insurance in here though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I went with 9.5% that I was sent. So,
but we didn't on our side though. We did too, okay.
be happy to answer any questions. I got a justification sheet in there that kind of breaks down all the different assets, where the actual dollars are going. I will say this, well, you already seen it. We've had another pretty substantial year in Gilchrist County for values.
Yeah.
And as of the first 6 months this year, we're not seeing anything that's really falling. Looks like they're just kind of holding. So, I think we may see some maybe small decreases going, for the next second half. But, as far as first 6 months, it's just kind of holding. So,
I think it's going to increase some. There's going to be some changes coming. But overall, I don't see it. It didn't slow down a lot. It kind of leveled off, but it didn't slow down. And I still see quite a bit of activity, throughout the county.
Yeah, they're talking potential lowering interest rates in September, or that could, I don't know, we'll see where that ends up, but that could speed things up a little.
Well, we appreciate you holding you right where you,
where you
at. We're just thankful that you can do that.
yes, sir.
That's all.
I really hope we're able to give, our employees some money. I really hope y'all look at that hard. I know y'all are in a tough spot and they're in a tough spot. The world's our country's in a tough spot right now, and
Yeah.
people are really struggling, and, our employees need, all we can get them.
As far as your working programs, your software programs and all that, it seems like every year or every other year we've done the supervisor elections, we do this department, that for me. Does yours look pretty good for the future?
Ours, we're in good shape. We, upgraded 4 years ago, Chris. So we're, up to that point, we were working off a system we had for 30-something years. So, yeah,
You're in good shape?
we're in good shape with that. I don't see anything coming down the pipe, that's gonna be any, substantial cost
Right.
to my office.
How about vehicles? I know you got some 20-year-old vehicles.
I've got, that's gonna be my next expense. I've been trying to hold off, but yeah, I've got over 20-year-old vehicles. We've got 3 vehicles. The newest one's a 2006. The oldest one's a 2004. They don't have tons of miles, but they're starting to have problems, and, maintenance on costs are definitely went up the last few years. But, I will, keep reading that these, car prices are gonna fall. But,
They just haven't fell yet, huh?
yeah, so, but anyway, that's definitely something that in the near future I may be having to come and talk to y'all about is the Gilchrist. So,
Thank you, Damon.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you, Dave.
thank you, sir.
Appreciate what you do, buddy.
Next up, we have the tax collector, pages 119 through 125.
Michael McElroy, tax collector.
Hey, Mike.
So, personnel expenses, we did, include, a small increase for my salary as we don't anticipate that coming from the governor in this political environment, but our, numbers are so skinny, if we don't add a little bit in there just in case they do, then I'll be back before you, and I think that is wearisome. So as you know, if we've always done every year, if we have money left over, money that we don't use, money that's not allocated, we return that back to the county. And so, just like last year, we included a little bit, and it actually went over. And so we're trying to negate having to come back and ask for money. But again, if it's not granted by the governor, it will go back to the county. The other couple items, were the operating expenditures, and that was, our tax software. That is the support for that, and it went up a couple of grand, which was small in comparison to the way prices are going up. So you can see a meager 2.3%, and part of that may not even happen.
Did you hire an additional employee?
We did not hire additional
Okay.
employee, and let me explain that. So we had an employee who wanted to go part-time. And so as you know, we have our Bell office that's open 1 day a week. And so we were hoping that she would want to come back full-time. That did not work. And she's actually resigned last week. And so we will not be refilling her 1 day, that person 1 day a week. So it's a non-issue.
Now, do you have a step plan in your office?
No,
And you didn't include any raises
No.
either? Thank
we
you.
did include the increase in the insurance.
Right. Yeah, I think everybody did.
You're still getting demand in the Bell office?
Yes,
Is that
very well received.
growing or about the same?
It's about the same.
Okay.
But I can tell you, people will wait for that Wednesday, so they don't make the drive.
Yeah, I've used it. It's very convenient. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very
And we appreciate you holding the 2.3%.
And it could be less.
Is, all the driver's license and all that stuff still going real smooth?
Still going well. As you know, the CWP fees are a little bit down because it's not required to, conceal carry. And so mostly what we're getting now are renewal fees, and that's significantly reduced over the new fees that we would receive. And so that is down some, but it's still a great opportunity for our citizens to renew right here locally.
Michael, do you have to request the fee system as opposed to budgetary for the
Yeah.
county? When do you do that?
Every time I'm elected, every 4 years.
He just,
Okay, so it's a 4-year, you don't have to do that annually?
No,
yeah,
Okay,
you just brought that about 4 or 5 months ago, I think, wasn't it?
it was, it was.
any questions?
For me, thank you very much.
All right.
Good job.
Thank
Time I've been in here, they've been nice, they've been friendly, and they've been quick to get people through.
They're also busy.
It's a-
And very busy,
It's a very,
very
busy
busy.
place.
I don't think I've ever been in there where there wasn't a line, but the lines were moving very quickly, so we thank you.
It's a challenge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have solid waste. I think Bobby was here. Yeah. As he's coming up, we did a couple graphs, just to kind of show you over time, the changes in solid waste. So the graph you're looking at is, expenditures and revenues over the last 10 years. The blue line are your revenues and the red line is your expenditures. As you can see, for the most part, expenditures and revenues have kind of flowed in, tangentially. However, last couple of years, our revenues have started to increase along with our expenses, but revenues have actually gone up a little bit faster than our expenditures. Going over to the next slide, you'll see the solid waste fund balance analysis. And as you can see, fund balance in 2021 was around $250,000. That declined over the next couple of years, and in 2023, it had gotten down to $55,000. In 2024, the board did do a transfer to shore up the fund balance. So in 2024, it ended at $484,000, and then has increased the last couple of years. I say this year is going to increase to around 693,000. And then based on our budget, proposed budget, we're looking at, in essence, flat if we were to receive all the revenues budgeted and expend all the money that's budgeted. Next slide, you'll see it's basically just kind of that same graph that we looked at for general fund balance, and you kind of see the trend of how fund balance did over that 10 years. It dropped down to almost nothing and then has picked back up. So with that, turn it over to y'all.
I'm here. Any questions you have, just let me know.
Well, it looks like you're dropping your budget by 11% from last year to this year. And the other thing is, we had asked Richard and Todd and them to, and maybe, I think you provided it for solid waste, but comparing cost per capita surrounding counties, we're, I think, by far the cheapest of counties. And so we appreciate what we're doing here, and it's working, I think, to keep costs down.
Good job, Bob.
Yeah,
Great
you're
job.
doing a great job.
We do appreciate it.
Just a
Yes,
quick comment. And again, I appreciate what Bobby's done, because you can tell by looking at the fund balance revenues, a lot of that I think has come from, by the board allowing us to man these outlying sites. So a lot of stuff doesn't go in there that should have been paying a tipping fee to start with. So that was cutting in to the revenues of solid waste. And, we will be trying to schedule a workshop here pretty soon on, moving forward with the construction. And while we do have a good fund balance now, which is good, with that construction come up, we've got to definitely keep that in consideration, that, because we have budgeted $3.5 million. And that's not in this, but it's in 301 out of our general fund to go along with our appropriations fund. So we've got some work ahead of us still, but the good thing is it's all looking very positive to be able to move forward with our construction. And hopefully a new facility will even help save a little bit more money, because be able to work a little more efficient there too as well.
Absolutely.
We put a new truck in service there, a new Mack truck, didn't they? Mack truck, so all your equipment's in good shape. You don't see any,
For the most part.
big time expenditures coming down the way?
We have, some repair that we need to do on the 50th floor, and, that's coming up. And, I was hoping to try to get that done on this year's budget. And, we'll wait and see.
Bobby, we appreciate what you do, buddy.
Thank you.
The next is, going to go ahead and move forward, Tom. The next is code enforcement.
It's going to be on
You'll
page
find out.
41.
Miss Jennifer is our code enforcement agent, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but you heard how large those numbers have, increased with the number of cases and all yesterday. I think it was 300 and something since 23, and, I think 200 violations, somewhere in that area. The budget though is pretty much the same. Pretty much the increases here are just the, insurance and, FRS.
Any challenges with code enforcement?
It's been a learning experience, and I'm still eager to learn more. This year has definitely been nothing but a learning experience, so, but I've enjoyed it surprisingly. But I enjoy the citizens, so it doesn't really bother me.
We thank you for what you do. We know it's
Absolutely.
a challenging job.
Yes,
We appreciate what you're doing. Yeah, hear good things. So.
well, thank you.
And Miss Jennifer's doing a great job. She's got a couple big cases that we're gonna let you know a little bit more about, but we gotta get a little more information that's coming up that, well, I'll go ahead and tell you what one of them is.
And we have a new special magistrate.
We have a new special
That was
magistrate.
good.
And one of the cases, because some of y'all have probably received complaints, is, the Mac Johnson's yard out here on 26 on the right where all the dumpsters are. The DEP is actually working on that, so we're working on it as well. And I think that our case and the DEP's case is gonna wind up complementing each other. There are things we can do that they can't do, the things they can do, we can't do. So you're gonna see a little bit more about that here in the near future.
And we're gonna leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next is animal control on page 53. In case y'all don't know her, this is Miss Erica.
Okay.
Hey,
Hi.
And you don't have any challenges either, do you?
Not at all.
As you'll see, due to a few changes, just basically because efficiently that she has ran it, and some of our costs have went down, which we did have a vehicle in there last year. One request we do have in here this year is we had 2 full-time plus a part-time employee, and we're asking to carry that part-time employee to a full-time employee. So that we actually have 3 total full-time employees. That is budgeted in the number that you see right here. We went ahead and
Is that something we could do without this year?
we really needed it 2 years ago because just the number of animals and all that's coming across. It's really, probably to what we already have in the budget, it's probably a $25,000. And we've actually managed to what we do to keep the budget even pretty close with doing that to what it has been.
Repair maintenance, what is that used for? I see it went up.
She has repair and maintenance on vehicles,
Okay, because we just bought that new,
Suburban.
Suburban and we haven't any problems out of that.
We had one problem, but they fixed it under warranty.
Mhm.
Yep. And,
When it used?
Huh?
That was used,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
they repaired it and they've made quite a few trips with it, hadn't you?
Overly grateful for it. You have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, a huge difference in my life.
I went down and visited with Erica she showed me all the facilities. She does a fantastic job. It's a big job. It really is. And the way you do the food is a real, plus, a real savings for Gilchrist County. So people say, why does she go to Ocala to get food? Well, if you'll see what she does by going down there, she saves us a ton of money by going down there and doing what she does. She may get a 50-pound bag of dog food that's got a tear in the corner with a piece of tape on it for $2 or something. That's a $50 bag of dog feed or a $40 bag of dog feed. She gets cat food, she gets all kind of stuff, and it's well worth the trip down there, I can tell you.
How
Well-
often do you have to go down there and get it?
One Sunday a month,
I mean,
so I pay $50 for the whole pallet.
Yeah,
Would be, some of the bags of dog food are $150.
yeah,
The Science Diet, all name brands, so
yeah.
wow.
that's me and about 30 other groups.
The facilities was clean, the kennels were clean. I mean, I was really, satisfied, really was.
That was mainly for animals and food. So,
I've
Okay,
no
for-
problem hiring that.
I have a ton of pictures I would love to tell you, but one day I'll have them on one of those files.
Hey, I appreciate the budget going down and we're still able to bring another person on. You're doing a great job. It's obvious. I've had no complaints in the community, so you've been handling them well. So, thank you very much. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I think they do too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He does it.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and do it if you don't want me to do it real quick. Other buildings, Gerald's not here, but, he had called me, he wouldn't be able to make it. But on page 36 is other buildings. That's our maintenance of mowing and taking care of our buildings. You'll see, actually, the overall budget went down, but one reason this budget went down too is the sheriff, the work that's being done down there, the roof renovation and hardening, we moved it to our 301, which is capital improvements. We felt like it fit better in there than it did in here. There will be some paid out of this year, but we've taken that in consideration. We did have to increase the utilities. We have several buildings that comes out of this department for utilities. It's not just their building. So there's a number of different buildings that come out of here. So, that's mainly the increase, but, they have no need for any equipment or anything.
Why did personal services go up 10%?
Why did what go up?
Insurance,
Personal services?
is that insurance or not?
Well, what is that? Personal services.
Personal services,
What?
that's staffing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're hiring additional people?
Well, I think we may have some longevity in there, possibility.
So that's 10%.
And,
$20,000, little, yeah, 20,000. What's the increase for 20,000?
we can go back and look at that, but it's, some of these numbers that we show for 24, 25, we had some adjustment because we gave some increases, and I don't know if we got those increases put in the comparison. You know,
What,
I mean, the salary, the overall salary,
salaries what?
it looks like it went up like 10,000.
yeah, 10,000. The rest is,
Increase in FICA, there's increase in FRS, there's increase in health insurance there, and, workers' comp. So, all of the levels. I mean,
Okay, so that includes all that.
yeah, that's it.
But it's all that,
I'm sorry, I didn't,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So the insurance increase, it is embedded in that.
Which was
What was that?
9% or whatever it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
9.5%.
9.5. How much has insurance increased over the last 5 years?
Oh, goodness,
I don't have that number right off the top
More
of
than
my head.
25%,
Yes.
50%?
Yeah, well, the last 2 years, it's been 17%.
we had a couple of years that was very, very low.
Yeah, the year before that, I think it was closer to like 4.5%. Year before that was,
1 or 2%.
yeah, it was pretty low.
Our claims have increased too.
But outside of that, I'd have to go back and look.
I would assume with the hurricane damage we've had more claims probably this past couple of years than we've had in other years also. I don't know of any major damage, but I know some other things have gone wrong with them, so.
Ms. Rhoda was unable to make it today. Do we want to move her to, our next meeting?
Dan?
Okay. So we'll skip library.
Okay.
The next is Hart Springs. I think Mr. Bryan's here.
Page 71.
Hey, how are y'all? You're supposed to have me
Say again?
today?
Say again?
You got me a password and update today?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I haven't changed your password yet, but, I
That's
don't want,
fine.
I don't want to mess up any meetings,
I'll get with you.
so, yeah. We're actually looking to cut our budget a little bit. Thankfully, we've been, over the past couple of years, we've been able to get stuff back up to good quality. So where, everything is safe and good for the visitors and the guests who come in. So thankfully with those repairs being made and having, the ability to, with new items, carry it over, we are looking to drop our budget a bit.
Our insurance went up $5,000?
Which insurance you're talking about?
Wait, hold on.
Personnel services,
Maybe, I don't have my glasses on, maybe I'm looking.
it would include.
No?
That is
Yeah, I
correct.
went
It
from
is.
7 to 12.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Probably, I think, a lot of vehicles.
No, we didn't buy a new vehicle. We've gotten another vehicle. We haven't bought a new vehicle since 2019. We just take a lot of the other vehicles from the other departments
Yeah.
because we're gonna keep them on property.
So what insurance is
What
that?
happens is
That's
I
property
have
casualty.
paid that we have overall insurance for the whole county, and then I have to have a way to allocate those costs. The general fund, the general government pays insurance, that's where the expenditure gets cost. And
then I have to take pieces of it, like for vehicles that, and liability insurance has to be spread throughout all of the departments based on the number of vehicles that they have, whether they're purchasing new assets or.
But we
There's
added,
also replacement.
we added a new building there this year too,
We did the laundry room.
Yeah,
Alonzo.
yeah, but
And then, plus your values are going up, and that's what's driving insurance up. Your rate's not going up, but your values are going up. So when you multiply your rate by your value, then automatically your insurance goes up.
A big increase.
Two of the things I wanted to note
But
here.
your coverage goes up too.
Yeah.
I mean, they increase the value of your
Oh, yeah.
asset.
That increase, and that increases the liability.
how they get those costs are generally accepted accounting for. Because if you have an overall cost, and you have to spread that cost over multiple departments,
Give everybody a piece of the pie.
everybody gets.
It just, it stayed 7 the last 2 years. I was just curious, so thank you for explaining.
All right, Brian, do you see any, major changes coming along over this next year that's gonna surprise us with, costs? But I know most things have been covered through grants and
Yes, sir.
and other things that we're moving along with playground equipment. We got my grandkids have been loving the sprinklers, campground's good.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I don't foresee anything, I'm not on wood, I don't want to jinx anything. I don't see anything happening. Thankfully, we're having a very good year this year, compared to last year, we maxed out just under 25,000 people for an entire year. And this year, we're already looking at, a little more than 61,000. So we should hit, and that's not including any events we've already run this year or anything. So we should max out very good on those numbers with, in terms of equal revenue for the park and the county.
Laundry room still doing good?
Laundry room's doing fantastic. Last time I calculated out, we're a little more than 300% increase in laundry room revenue. So that's great. And I've heard nothing but great things from the campers and guests. While they're in other campgrounds, Otter, Strawberry Fields, they will explore ours and find out that we have a fully furnished laundry room. We are snagging a lot of campers from other parks, where as of right now, we just looked at it, starting in January, we don't have any free rooms. So with,
And in January, you don't have what?
there's no more free spots. We can't take any more people in
We
because
got a
we're
lot of
maxed out.
snowbirds coming in.
Yeah.
Okay. And starting next week, the population during the week will go down because kids will be back in school, but you're still maxing out just about every weekend?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're earning about 1,200 people a weekend right now.
Have you had,
So
have you had to shut it down yet?
we haven't, thankfully, because the crowds have been very, and Deputy Sanders can preach this as well. This has been probably one of the best summers we've ever had since I've been working. The crowds are very good, they're calm. I think it's gotten to everybody that Park Springs is a family park. So when you come out there, just enjoy it with your family. Let's not come out and try to cause issues. For the most part, we only ever talk to people around, please wear your wristbands, don't get on the handrails, and don't hurt yourself. It's been a really good summer.
We do have two items, but they're in the budget that we're gonna have to look at. We're gonna have to look at the water plant. We're still haven't given up, but we failed on about 4 grants to try to repair that. We're gonna get to a point that the DEP's not, we're gonna tell us we gotta repair it. It's not in any kind of danger or anything right now, but it's just something that we require. And the other thing is we spoke about the campground expansion for quite some time. We've got that budgeted in here as well. So I actually, hopefully, I just found this out in the last few minutes. I haven't even been able to share with anyone, but I should have a schematic of the layout for how they want to lay it out down there. And we plan to bring that to the next board meeting so you guys can see how the layout is. And Brian, I'll get it emailed over to you, but I received it. So
One great thing about Park Springs is it pretty much pays for itself and more.
well,
So
I
we
think
appreciate
on
that.
the next page of your handout, Mr. Robinson's did an analysis. And he's projected this year the profit, it'll be profitable out there of around $73,000. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because there's also a lot of expense that comes with running the park. So when it can pay for itself, it's not a burden on anyone. And, and being able to take care of itself. And that's including with some of the capital improvements we made, it was able to pay for those as well too.
How many camping spots do we have?
68.
68?
68.
And we're gonna add how many?
We're, down in the campground and down in the spring, I think we're looking at, 10,
10,
Between
we're
7
trying to
and
get,
10.
trying to get 10 in there.
so we'd be up to 78 if we got all of them.
And that includes the one most primitive down closer to the spring?
Yes, sir.
We gotta remember now, those are premium spots when we start talking about it.
Premium,
The
premium.
premium
primitive.
spots down by the spring.
You have an option. You
And
can
they'll
stay
cost a
down
little
there,
more,
stay
won't they?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir. We added, the view and then the luxury, you don't have to get on the bicycle.
So you'll bring us those prices to approve?
Yes, sir.
I see your employees, last year you had shown 5 full-time and 2.5 part-time. You're gonna go 4 full-time and 6 part-time?
Yes,
You're gonna change that around a little bit?
yes. Yeah, and the part-time is nice because, it only costs a fraction of what the full-time does. But like during the summer, we've had school teachers who work with us part-time. During the summer, we can move them in and they start working full-time hours. During the school year, they can still come in and work weekends. By doing that staff increase, it's allowing us to work on projects quicker, and more steadily, which allowing us to treat them at a much more quicker rate and be more efficient to serve the guests and parties.
Part-time are less expensive too.
Yes, sir, 100%.
And they're more flexible most of the time.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Good.
You did a good job. Yeah, Brian, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Next is our county extension. Miss Jessica's here. That is on page 46.
That's the super Gilchrist.
I do want to explain one thing. Some of the increases in the salaries, it's because of the University of Florida. There's certain levels that they achieve. We had an increase for that this year, but the University of Florida shares that with us. We are required to pay 40% of it, and they're required to pay 60%. But we're required to follow their plan due to our agreement with them, and it's based on their merits increase for the way they do it.
It's similar to the county step plan, except for we have to apply for the promotion within the university. So it's Tyler's timeline this year to go up for a 10-year promotion. It's usually a 5 to 6 year cycle. So it's just Tyler this year, and then I'll apply next year for my next one. But it's something that goes in a 5 to 6 year cycle. So it's generally not an every year expense. So the county and the university pays their portion.
So you'll be a full professor, or how will that work?
I'll be an assistant.
Assistant professor, okay. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't count my chickens before they're hatched yet, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. So I sincerely want to thank you for your continued support of our programs and your thoughtful stewardship of our county resources. At this time, we're not requesting any operating budget increases or capital outlay. We recognize that the county has many competing needs and that we appreciate your discernment in balancing all of them. Each year, we grow our reach and expand our services, connecting with more youth, farmers, and families across Gilchrist County. We've been intentional and creative in finding ways to do more without asking for more, but we remain committed to making every dollar count, and we do have big future plans for the extension office. So we hope to have your support and continue your support in that direction. We hold on hope that one day we'll be able to completely finish out our event facility, but currently we don't have any additional requests.
Bobby and I saw Eric Simone and his boss, I guess, will be Andre Johnson, the dean for extension, down at Florida Association of Counties meeting, and they were very complimentary of you and Tyler and the group here, and we think we've got the best in the state. And
Thank
so
you. We tell them we're in the best county in the state. We have wonderful support. We believe in agriculture. Our community is wonderful to us. So we appreciate the partnership. It's very strong and continued to be a success. So it's great to hear.
we kept working on them to provide additional, what did they say they will provide, Bobby, the technical computer,
Yeah,
all
we
that kind of
were
stuff?
trying to get,
Yeah.
the technical.
I got a question the other
They
day.
didn't say no either.
No.
Yes, sir.
I got a question the other day why the county bought a green drill.
Oh, yes, sir.
And once I explained it to them, they understood.
Great. And we're happy to answer. if
Like,
you'll-
why in the world?
Yeah, any of those questions. A lot of people just lack the understanding because they haven't experienced some of those types of programs. But we have some really great programming within the upcoming year that'll be the educational component to that. And we'll continue success for these programs and ag programs. So we appreciate all that you do for us.
Is the grain drill in there?
I think Tyler went to pick up today, yes, sir.
I don't know.
I
So
heard
it takes
coming in-
about
Heard it was coming in this week.
several months to get it built, but it's all built and ready to go. So we're excited about that.
What equipment do you have right now that farmers, check out and use?
We have a grain drill. We have a large pesticide and herbicide sprayer that has booms off each side that can be mounted to vehicle. We also have a backpack sprayer that runs on CO2 that they can link as well. So we have lots of those types of implements that we use for trials in the community. A lot of our partnership with local producers is to do segments of land trials, so that way we can test out different things that work. That's where the research at the university comes out into the county and can help make improvements on their end and our end, because we definitely want to help improve the yield for producers and just their overall experience farming. So by us being able to provide those field trials, they're able to see firsthand whether it's going to work, and those are university-sponsored trials generally. So they're providing us with all of the materials for those trials and the research support as well. So it's a great partnership.
I have, noticed a new business in this area of using drones to spray and things such as that. Is that, you think there's a future in this?
Absolutely. There are 2 pesticide operators in the county that were past 4-H and FSA members. They're actually the most heavily licensed pesticide operators in the county at this point, and they're 19 and 20 years old, which is incredible. So they have, I think, 4 or 5 certifications at this point. Aerial pesticide applicator is very difficult to obtain. It's a lot of academic workload to get the test done. But they purchased a large drone that has booms on it. They launch it from a truck so they can go directly over fencing. They don't have to open any gates as they go from field to field. So it's amazing. They're both students right now at the University of Florida, and they're going to continue their academic background, but they've been working closely with producers and promoting themselves. So pretty neat to see 4-H success that way.
Oh, I love to see past FFA members succeed, so I've been excited to watch it too. He was one of my members along with, Mr. Wasden there at the end, so I'm glad to see him doing well, at least the one of them I know doing well with it.
Absolutely, they're both doing great. And also their communications and marketing person came straight from the FSA and 4-H programs as well. So pretty neat. They're doing some really good work, and they've gotten all of their pesticide licensing through our office and done all their testing there. So great to see the responsible application and land use throughout the county.
All right. How many 4-Hers do we have?
Approximately 300. We're moving into the new 4-H year, and that's just traditional community club members. We reached the entire population at those elementary schools last year. So that's hundreds of additional kids that are accumulating hours over the course of the year, but those are school enrichment. And then we also have community numbers. We partner with the library quite a bit, and have sponsored several of the programs there with hundreds of people. So we've had a great year, and really excited to see what we can accomplish this next year.
Yeah, I saw in Tallahassee 4-H Day, some of the group from here, and they would just go in a room with legislators and basically lead the discussion. It's pretty impressive to see. I know 4-H and FFA, Bill, are making a big difference in our young people. We appreciate all that.
Thank you. We just returned from 4-H University, which is held on US campus. Deb Smith, the president of Florida Farm Bureau, was one of the main speakers, and had a connection with one of our kids that had Strawberry Farm the year before, and he had come out to look at her place. So deep connection there. He's based out of St. Augustine. His kids all went through the program as well, but 2 of them obtained scholarships at senior night last week, with one participate in the state fashion review, and was one of the top 10 there. So pretty great success and direct link into college programs and just industry in general. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Jessica, we're excited about the things y'all do. We hear good things, so thank you very much. And anytime you can come in with a decrease, we do appreciate it.
Sure, I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you for working with us.
Our next department is a new department this year. It's community paramedic. It's on page 175. Y'all have heard quite a bit about our community paramedic program, because getting it up and getting it started has been very active and a very busy task, and Mr. Clemens has done an excellent job with that. Actually, all of his equipment and all he uses was funded through one of the opioid programs. And this entire department is actually, funded through opioid programs. So, we decided we wanted to create a separate department, one for being able to, mainly for tracking the expenses and being able to report. Mr. Clemens does all his own reporting as well too, to LSF, who monitors those. So it's just easier to track it by having a separate department and, actually seeing how well we're doing in it. And he has a number of clients. I'll let him tell you a little bit about the program.
So we're doing really well. I do like to brag that we don't cost the taxpayers anything, at least not our local Gilchrist County people. I think that I've graduated about 35 people so far, which is great. I keep 20 enrolled pretty much all the time. I don't know how many visits. I think I've done 160 visits year to date, with people, on top of trying to get all the MOUs, which is really bogged down a lot of the administrative work. The state has made reporting a little bit easier on us this year, which is surprising, and I'll take the win. Otherwise, we're doing really well.
I know some of the older people in the community certainly appreciate him. He comes in and visits with them also and gives them words of encouragement, along with everything else that he does. And I've heard nothing but good things from people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank y'all.
Our next department is road department. Mr. Newton, did you want to go over the drafts that you provided?
Sure. Before we do that, do we want to address opioid mitigation fund?
Sure, you can. Yeah.
Page 139, really quickly, this is just where the funding for the community paramedic program comes from. So on 139, you'll see that you have budgeted $136,000 in there for next year, which will, again, more than cover our expenses for
Yeah.
the program for next year.
Wow.
Moving on to road department, this is a 10-year trend of the road department revenues and expenditures. Again, the blue line is your revenues and transfers in, and your red line are your expenditures and transfers out. You can see from 2015 to 2018, we saw an increase, decline back, from 19 through 22, and then we've seen kind of a sharp increase over the past few years. This year, we're projecting that we're going to have a little bit over $3 million in revenues and transfers in. This year, we are transferring $1.2 million in from general, and our expenditures are a little over $3.2 million projected for this year. Moving to the next slide, this, kind of going along with the other slides that we've been looking at, this is the road department fund balance. You see that it was increasing from 2015 through 2021 and has been declining since 2021. Currently, we're projecting that at the end of this fiscal year, we'll have around $297,000 in the road department fund balance. Looking at the analysis, you see that the trend of from 2021, our fund balance was just over $1 million. And that has been declining until this year, where we're going to be below our fund balance requirement. As I mentioned earlier in the meeting, based on our analysis of that, we had to increase our transfer from 1.2 million to 1.45 million for next year in order to be in compliance with our fund balance policy. With that, going to page 144 in the book, you can see the breakdown of the road department.
You can see there's a number of items, of course, utilities, insurance, uniforms, and some of the standard things have increased. A few things went down. We don't have a large purchase for equipment this year. What we do have budgeted this year is $50,000 and that would be a lease payment. And that is for a new wheel loader and a skid steer with a mower. And then, of course, then we have our new lease payment for the new, graders is also budgeted here at the new rate that we had to get y'all to approve based on the lead time to go ahead and order those. We got Mr. David and Mr. Rodney's here. But if you have any questions, they're willing to come up, or Mr. David come up and answer any question. But, they are doing an excellent job. We're getting a lot of things accomplished, a lot of things done. A lot of, the roads, now they're working on trimming. We really appreciate that. And, but and the new equipment that we received over the last couple of years, David and them tell me thank you for that all the time, especially the two dump trucks we just got.
Yep, I see overall you're going down 11%, which is a lot of that, the capital outlay that you're talking about.
Thing about the road department is, it goes back to what Todd says, what level of service do you want? How many times you want your roads mowed? Which road you want trimmed? How much rock do you wanna put out? If you base it on the budget, you just say, okay, I can afford 10 loads of rock, I'll do 10 loads of rock. But you have to build around that, because we can use rock any day of the week, on all the roads just about. So it just depends, it goes back to what level of service do you want? Mowing the sides of the road, do you mow them once a month, once every 3 months? How often you want them mowed? How much trash you want picked up? I mean, there's always something to do in the road department. So it just depends on what level of service you want and what can you provide, I guess you could say. Cause everybody wants a road fixed and everybody wants it graded once a week.
Everybody wants to pay.
Yeah, y'all been doing a good job though. The driveways are looking good, mowing is looking good, a lot of things. I mean, it really is.
Very responsive, and when we see something, at least my experience is within a week or so, you're getting to it, and I know you got lots of other things going on. So appreciate what you're doing there. I know you probably don't have everything where you want it yet, but you're still working that way, and there's always gonna be challenges with that area.
I told the board yesterday, the last text I got was a real good compliment on y'all's work. And I told the guy, I don't get many of them, but it was really appreciated. It was a good job.
And I got a compliment on the road y'all did yesterday.
Thank you.
I've got a few compliments on the roads too. I've had people call me and said, man, that grader they got now, he knows what he's doing. That's good. He did a great job. And so, yeah, I was,
We like them.
we appreciate everything you do. We will always have complaints after 6 inches of rain that there's a washout somewhere, but every time I've called Rodney, I haven't ever spoke to you, but I do call Rodney because he's on my speed dial. I'm telling you, within 24 hours usually, it's been taken care of, and I know he transfers it to you, so you probably are making sure some of it gets done too, and I appreciate that, because when someone calls with a complaint that can be taken care of quickly, they know their money is being used, to take care of it, so I appreciate it.
My cold load's way down too. I still got much of a bit of cold over it.
Yeah.
But Rose, I'm very satisfied.
We're getting some good candidates out there now. We've got a couple of good guys we hired in the last week. That's helped us out a bunch too. I think the overall morale out there is getting a lot better too. I think they see there's a little bit more money being brought to them, and I think they're really appreciative of all y'all doing that for them.
Okay. We've bought quite a bit of new equipment too in the last few years.
And the guys.
I know it helps you do a better job when you got the right equipment doing it.
That is correct. That's
Something that ain't wore out and you have to patch it every day.
Yep, you got some new graders coming in budgeted, so. Then we try to keep them in good equipment, cause I know when I get a new truck, I sweep it out every day, and I pick up all the trash and I take care of it, and then after it gets about 4 or 5 years old, well, you'll find a coat turned over in the back seat or something like that, so, yeah, you take care of it when it's nice, and so.
That's correct.
So we have, equipment wise in the last couple of years, and I think that's part of some of what we see. Hopefully that'll slow down some, it sounds like, with new equipment. Bobby or David
Well,
or Rodney, I don't know.
That's one of the things that we've spoken about. You know, we had some major repairs this year that we're currently in, you know, with a crusher and some things, and we just really didn't, you know, we knew it was gonna happen. I think we made the right choice repairing the machine compared to what a new one would cost. And those time, and putting in some new dump trucks, but before we got those trucks and all, we were having a lot of breakdowns, and we were having a lot of other breakdowns and this newer equipment, because I will tell you, that while the lease on these graders went up quite a bit, the good thing is we had our price locked in for 5 years. So now we're suffering the big price increase. But when they make the phone call to get those repaired, they come repair them, we don't get a bill. So,
That's nice.
you know, it's nice to make that payment once a year. I mean, we have to do tires and a few other things, but, you know, it's not like, I think one of these graders, one time they told us the alternator they had to replace was $700 just for the alternator. Or something like that. The prices are just crazy. So it's really, that's actually a money saver.
Anytime you take heavy equipment in, if I take my John Deere to the service dealer, I know it's gonna be $4,000 to $5,000. It's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna cost you. So, we do appreciate everything y'all do. I don't have any questions right now.
I'm happy.
As long as you have Mr. Skinner, that's all that matters.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Ron, can you? Yep. Do those from yesterday.
I just want to say, the only other thing I'd say on the road department we didn't discuss was, this does include, the new loan payment that
Yes.
we're making assumptions on. And it also includes that we just paid off the John Deere motor grader, this year. So
And most of the revenues we get are just from gas tax.
that's correct. So
And-
the road
and
department's,
State gives us other revenues on top of that, is that?
no, your only revenues in the road department are fuel tax and transfer in from general.
That's why it pays to fill up in Gilchrist County.
Correct.
And that's, I try to encourage my family, and I do myself. If I'm fixing to head a trip and I got a half a tank of gas, I'll go fill up before I leave, so.
As
try to
on
keep our money local and.
on that note, the revenues that we have, utilized for the proposed budget are our current rate, you know, what we're currently getting this year. We have not received whatever the new revenues are gonna be for next year. We anticipate probably in the next couple of weeks to get those numbers, but, it basically right now on the website, it just indicates we'll get them sometime between July and August. So, as soon as we get those numbers, we'll update. I hope they're gonna increase, but, my prayer is that they don't decrease.
Yeah. But the fuel prices stay where they're at, it's based on a percentage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, gas tax is a set rate per gallon, but, you know, it's just a factor of, you know, how many gallons are purchased throughout the state.
And I think it's not hard to do that when your prices are competitive in the county, and they are. I mean, you're not gonna go to a county next door and get it any cheaper.
That's right.
What road are we gonna be striping this year, or roads, do we know?
No, ma'am, we don't.
Did we,
We haven't striped any in a couple of years.
so does that money just roll over then?
Yes, ma'am. And we keep budgeting it each year, but what we try to do is wait down towards the end of the year. And like this year, because we've had so many repairs, then we won't come to y'all about striping any roads, so that money can be used to offset the current overages in our expenditures.
I know we have an advantage over some counties because we have our scrap and our SCOP programs and stuff like that. But I can tell you, y'all know how many comments I get on our paved roads in Gilchrist County. I mean, it's almost 3 or 4 a week that people brag on our road. Oh, I can tell when I get to Gilchrist County. And it's good. I mean, it's good, but we're also fortunate to have the programs that we have and the opportunity that we have, because we couldn't do it without it. There's no way we could pave roads without it.
And you're correct, probably one of our worst roads that needs to be striped is 339. And we've got a grant to be paving it here pretty soon, so it'll get restriped in that process. There's even some pretty bad signs on it, so those signs will get replaced. in that process as well too. And when we can get them to, and sometimes they do, if they do any sign work and they'll give us the old signs, then we take the old signs from them so that we can recycle them into, and use the ones that can be used, the parts can.
And this includes,
Yeah, actually, when they did 129,
Mhm.
they called and asked us if we wanted all those signs imposed when they changed them out, and we took every one of those.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Bobby, does this include the chip and seal as well,
Chip and seal, no, sir,
separate?
but it is in it, we put that in capital, it's in 301.
Okay.
What we tried to do is move those type of projects and that are capital projects. We had them kind of spread out, so we tried to put them all back into the capital projects improvements this year, so they'll be easier to track and keep up with it in one thing. Or easier for me, I can say that.
What else?
All right, moving on to courthouse operations, it's on page 35. Almost, yeah.
It's not in our handout, is
It
it?
is. We keep on going there 4 or 5 pages.
This one is, if you tell.
Okay.
Yeah. The courthouse operations, you can see, that budget went down some, and some of that is due to, some of the repairs and stuff that we've been doing, we've been budgeting, and we've gotten some of those done, so we've been able to bring that budget down. There are some, of course, increase in utilities, and we're still finishing up some of those, items such as blinds, floors, painting that we need to continue from stairway we talked about yesterday.
Do we know, I don't know, this might be not a very good question, but looking at the overall proposed increase versus what we know is our decreases, what the net amount would be, that might help us in the end evaluate how much, where we want our millage rate to be, I guess.
Or
Are you talking this year's budget versus our current budget?
So, yeah, we've got a proposed increase in some offices, categories, funds, and we've got quite a few decreases. And so what the net difference would be, you know, I'd estimated 1.2 million increase, proposed increase. If you subtract then out the ones that can go down, what the net difference is, I'm just, and this is probably not a good time to get to talking about this.
I actually think I may have done that, I don't remember what.
Yeah, we can do that.
Some of it, because some of them, we just a minus 11%, but how much is 11%?
Yeah,
But I need to add all my positives and all my negatives.
we can do that later. I just was thinking that.
I may have it, I may have to go in and correct it, but I think I do that each year just for.
It's a little difficult because 11% in one area is not much, in another area, 11% maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars.
11% of a dollar is a little, not a different than 11% of $1 million.
You're right, you're right.
All right, moving on to detention and correction, page 39.
Either one of us on this one.
Yeah, you know, this is where our, out of county, detention falls into, as well as our inmate hospital and medical services. So, you know, we've had a pretty good decline in, inmate detention services due to the, you know, fact that we're now housing the majority of ours in-house. We did continue to budget 30,000 in inmate detention, until we see that, you know, it's kind of leveled off to, to nothing, but, we do believe that there's going to continue to be a certain amount of expense in that, annually. Hopefully it's gonna be less than 30,000. But, as of right now, that's what we've got in there. We did increase, the amount of inmate hospital, just to cover what, we anticipate, potentially we have as far as expenses. It's one of those things that it's really just a random number because you have no idea what your expenses are
No.
gonna be. We've looked at, the history of our expenses. We are fortunate that we did get the contract in place with Shands. That has been remarkable. So our invoices from Shands with the new, contract in place, we've seen anywhere from 40% of the cost to 25% of the cost. So it's been a very good, provision to have in place. That's been,
So you do have a contract with Shands?
we do.
The normal policy would be the closest one, like North Florida, right?
The policy, I think, is that they send them to North Florida if it requires, but if it doesn't require, then they go to Shands.
Well, I know in the past, we couldn't work with North Florida. I mean,
Yeah, North Florida was,
I even
very
tried to sit down with them and they're like, we're a corporation, we do this, we don't do that.
I spent,
It was awful. I mean, awful.
I spent many, many hours dealing with North Florida.
Yeah.
We had a large bill 2 years ago. And I worked with them for a long time trying to negotiate down. And, we finally did get a little bit off, but they were very difficult. And so once Shands got this in place,
That's very,
the-
Shands was willing to work with us.
yes,
They would bend over
Yes.
backwards, but
yes.
North Florida was.
So anyway, the new contract has been phenomenal and, very beneficial. So. Any more questions there? If not, we'll go to general government on page 11.
Page 11.
Mm-hmm.
Most of your increases there are FRS, insurance. We did have a pretty good increase for, insurance. A lot of the insurance comes in here, has to be paid out of here and then dispersed. So we have to have a dollar amount in here to be able to pay it, to disperse it. The Trenton downtown redevelopment went up, which it usually goes up annually.
As postage went up, freight and postage went up a huge difference from 2,500 to 15,000. I thought that's a big increase in postage and freight, but is there a reason that we're gonna be shipping more this year?
15 last year, it'd be 15 again this year.
Oh, excuse me, I went from the year, from 24 to 25, it went up that year, excuse me.
Do we use that much?
Yeah.
15,000 a year, Mr. Crosby?
Freight and postage, yes. But you gotta remember now, this postage that's in here that's for anything we have to do within the courthouse that's mailed. That's for anything from our office that's mailed. Other offices bring stuff there and mail it as well. And our postage rate the amount of mailings have been increasing. Like when we mail out, code violations, whatever we do, but those have been. Yep.
That redevelopment for Trenton, is that a mandate also, Bobby?
It is.
Yep.
It's a community redevelopment, act or whatever. And, when the city put that into place, it basically required us to do an annual amount based on the increase in values. Is that
Kind of a fixed rate.
You're actually resharing the wealth. I mean, you're not losing the money's just being utilized in the city of Trenton for a period of time that the plan lasts. When the plan goes away, you're supposed to have slum and blighted areas that have now developed an increased tax rate that will come back to the county. What they did was they had a tax increment zone. They analyzed it, and whatever the taxes that were being generated to the county at the point the plan was put in place, were frozen, and the county continued to get that. Anything above that was still collected, but it was replugged into the city of Trenton for the period of time that the plan lasts. And I think the plan runs out, the first portion of 2030, I believe that's correct. Is that right, Richard? About 2032, I think it goes out. And then all of it comes back county, and there won't be any more, community redevelopment.
But those have to be spent on certain.
In the area that was mapped out in the community redevelopment area in the city, which is a downtown area and the block or two off of downtown, basically. Okay,
The idea is
that's right.
those sectioned off or
Revitalize the area. That's right.
There's a lot of downtowns throughout the nation, really,
That have done that, that
that
have
have-
actually utilized that.
have done that, yeah.
And we have a couple on the drawing board in the city of Trenton. I wish Brittany Mills, she left. I wish she was still here. But we have a couple, we have 5 that are on the plan right now in the downtown area. You know, next to the Mexican grocery store, all the way to the corner by Cherry's, and the old dry cleaners behind it. They're all right now subject to a facade improvement grant, each one of those. They did the old drugstore where the gym is, where the Dr. Cox's office was. That building was part of that. They did the paved parking lot right across the street next to the new pediatric center. So those are, and they did a parking lot over by the little cottage cafe over there on that corner. With those, that's the money that came from.
Right.
And the street lamps and that sort of thing. Try to improvement and get some, additional taxes that the county can enjoy in years going forward.
The increase in debt service, what?
That's the Spring Ridge
Okay.
Road project.
Yep.
Can we take a 2-minute break?
Sure. Y'all wanna take a break?
2 minutes?
Sure. Done did. Okay, are we ready to start back?
Yes, sir.
Well, start back once again. Mr. Todd, what else we got?
Gonna go to the clerk, page 78, and my request this year is actually a 5.1% decrease. It's around $28,000. I had a reduction of a little over $25,000 from contingency from last year. And so just trying to do my part.
Does yours include a step plan?
Mine does not include a step plan. It does include health insurance increase
But no,
and
yeah, no
FRS.
raises.
But no raises.
We appreciate you working to drop it down.
Yes, we do.
No, I knew we had a hard year coming this year and, so trying to do my part.
Yeah, good. You should've went first.
What's that?
You should've been the first constable.
Well,
I could have.
I'm gonna pat you on the back and say thank you for everything you do over there. Your department does a wonderful job. Never, ever had any complaints about what goes on there. I know y'all work well together to make sure all the finances are right, and you need a pat on the back, all of y'all do for the jobs y'all do.
Well, I mean, it really does come down to staff.
You do make our jobs a lot easier when we don't have to worry about, robbing Paul to pay, or whatever that saying is.
Robbing Peter to save.
Yeah.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
Peter runs out of money.
I know, but that ain't over yet. The year ain't over yet, but, they always have kept us, out of trouble. So I appreciate it.
Well, again, it comes down to having good staff, and Ms. Tanya's been a great addition to our staff as well. Been very helpful getting, helping to get us where we need to be. Richard is always, in helping us with our audits, as well as, our finances, and Karen does a great job of keeping us in line, all of us. In addition to, Wesley, Wesley's, a phenomenal accountant, always, dots his i's and crosses his t's. If any of you know him, we do have a great staff though. So, next, we're going to move to page 13, finance and administrative. We're just going to kind of go through these fairly quickly. These are the ones that don't really take a lot of time. This is a continuation budget. Basically, this is, items again that we have to budget for. And it's really not a lot we can do about it. We either have the expenses or we don't. This is due to tax deed sales. Some years we have a lot, some years we don't. So we can't really determine when we're going to have those. So we just have to budget and plan for it. But moving to page 15 is the county audit. This is an increase based on our contract with James Moore. And it is going up to 102,000 this year. I believe this is a last year of the contract. So next year we'll be getting probably a renewal from them. Been praying that it's not going to be a huge increase. I think that they've been very fair with us. I've seen some of the renewals that are not renewals, but some counties that have gone out to bid for audit services, and some of them with James Moore and smaller counties, and they're paying quite a bit more than we are. I can tell you some of that is attributed to the amount of work that Richard puts into our audit.
Well, I was gonna say, when they come to Gilchrist County, it's fairly easy because everything's in a row where it's supposed to be.
It is,
And the other ones that you gotta dig into, they don't have to dig here, it's right there.
yeah,
'Cause y'all do a good job.
and again, it is attributed to that. They've actually told me so. So I'm hopeful that we don't have a big increase next year, like after this. But I do anticipate it's going to be an increase. I'm hoping that we'll be able to negotiate something that's not drastic, but I have seen some of the increases that other counties are getting, and it's pretty substantial.
So for our size county and budget, we're average or below
As far as what we're paying,
paying?
I think we're below average. I saw, I'm trying to think what county it was, but it was a county of similar size and they were paying around 130,000. Was their new rate. So again, I'm hoping that ours will not jump to that. And, you know, we'll do our best to negotiate with them when it comes to it, so. Next up, page 16, legal counsel. This is what we,
This might be, I know we got an entire budget to go through, but, I don't think Mr. Lane, we probably haven't increased in a couple of years, and I'm kind of seeing what some of these other attorneys charge now for what they do, so this might be one that we need to look at addressing, before we close out our budget. this
You
year.
know, it's been a while since, he's having a raise.
3 to 4 years, I think, is that correct, Mr. Lane?
I think the board gave you and myself a raise at the same time several years ago, not the recent raises, but,
It's about,
and that's been,
we've given them one since I've been on, this will be my 4th year, so it must have
It's
been
probably
about
about
3
It's about
years.
4
ago.
years
years
ago,
ago.
3 or 4 years
Yeah.
ago.
I'd recommend we get our budget where we can balance it before we worry about the attorney that much, but I do appreciate it. I think if there's any way that we can do that, it would certainly be welcome, but if not, we'll get the budget balance first. And I appreciate the consideration.
I don't think you don't get a raise.
Well, we might not, you know, but, it's a tough budget
We
year.
can give you,
Trying to
we give you a pat on the back though, because we do
That's right.
appreciate you.
That's right. As I've told people several times, I appreciate the opportunity, I appreciate the job, so a lot of people don't have a job.
We appreciate you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it a lot.
with that in mind, we'll go to page 17. This is county court. It's a continuation budget. Moving on to page 17 is circuit court. There were some increases in their request. Nothing drastic, about $2,000. It went from 73,569 to 76,734. They requested increases in the circuit-wide state attorney, the alternative sanctions, the pro se case manager, slight increases in the purchasing tech, and slight increases in network support. The backup to that is on pages 19 through, I think, 23 or 24. Actually 27. So it does give a breakdown of why they're requesting the increase. This is basically the dispersed costs for the 8th Circuit. They take the total budget and then they break it down by county and size. And that's basically their request. So if there's any questions there. If
We
not,
really have the opportunity to say no.
I mean, I think you could probably say no. If you do, you're gonna have to adjust the memo of understanding, because we currently are in an MOU with the 8th Circuit. And that MOU basically says how they're going to distribute it. So it would be, you know, if we tried to question the costs, I mean, we'd have to renegotiate it somehow.
Yeah.
We'd have to come to another understanding. We would.
It might not be as good.
And it might not be good.
I just was wondering.
Yes, sir. Next item is additional court costs. And this did show about a $4,000 increase. This is actually just budgeting for funds that we receive through the courts. So basically, certain fees get distributed to the county, and it goes into different funds. And so this is basically just budgeting for those revenues that come in. And on occasion, you know, we actually bring items to the board. Some of this gets distributed to different entities. Juvenile alternatives goes to the schools. Legal aid goes to Three Rivers Legal. services, that's for people that are indigent. And then Court Innovations, has certain things, certain expenses that can be utilized for. So again, we're just budgeting, the revenues that we have for those items based on what we anticipate to be the revenues. Page 30 is guarding ad litem. Guardian ad litem is requesting a continuation budget, which has been the same ever since I've been in office. I don't quite understand how they continue to do that, but we're thankful.
Yeah. So we're,
Moving over to page 33 is storm. And we're budgeting a continuation on storm.
Now, what is that with the regular salary? What does that mean? 15,000?
When we have, storms, or Azalea or whatever.
Right.
We allocate in the overtime for anybody's salary, want a declaration, emergency declaration made. Then certain individuals like myself, we get paid overtime for all of the time spent during the storm period, during that declaration of emergency for overtime, things like that. So I actually make journal entries to move it out of the department and put it into this department.
Do we usually get reimbursed for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons we track it here, because of the way we have to provide it to them. And we actually, I think we have a way we code the payroll checks now. It does it automatically for us.
It simplifies the process for reimbursement.
so you have a category for the,
Mhm.
you have a category for that, and you budget that. May use it, may not,
That's
but,
right.
but it's there if you need it.
Moving over to page 38 is, forestry fire control. And that is the amount that we expend, to the Florida Forestry Department. And it's a continuation.
Just a minute. I know it's not right here on this list. You want to just go ahead and back up the fuel depot while you're right there. It's one page back, 34. Any problem with that?
Which page is it?
Page 34.
Hey, 30 what? 4?
31 is fine.
My brother, the fuel depot,
What's that?
the fuel depot. You want to go ahead and do it on page 34 while we're right here?
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Fuel depot, basically, these numbers are in here because we have to purchase fuel, we have to have a way to process the payment, and then it cycles right through here, and then as we track it by department, and then those costs get distributed out to each department. Thank you.
Page 44, communications. Overall, a decrease in budget. Some items had an increase, some items had decreases. We increased utility services due to the known increase that's anticipated. Decrease in rentals and leases, and an increase in repair and maintenance.
One of the reasons for that decrease in rentals, when we put in the new communication system, we had a tower that we leased from right off of County Road 232, and they're behind the Dairy Crown Castle, I believe it was. We no longer have to have that tower. When they redrew the grid, we no longer needed that tower. However, the school has a tower right there by the College Gateway building or the school building. They had a tower, and that tower worked better for the possibility of the schools. So we switched it to there, so we have no rental fee for that anymore. This was actually able to reduce the rental on their tower.
Next item, on page 47. This is the aid to other governments. This is also forestry funding for $3,000, which is a continuation. Next is page 68, it's county healthcare subsidy. This does reflect an increase to the Medicaid, from 376 to 478. This is established by the state. This is one of those mandates that we get. It's been an increasing responsibility to the county. As you can see, a couple years ago, it was around $300,000, and this year they're at 478. You know, this is one of those things that, you know, as we talk to legislatures, you know, we need to be emphasizing the effect, you know, when they start talking about, you know, eliminating property taxes and things like that, but yet passing down, you know, large expenditures that, you know, we can't even say no to.
Yeah.
That's $500,000 right there.
Yeah.
You know, talking about the rollback, you know, the rollback's a $500,000 increase from last year. There it is, right there.
There it is, right there.
$500,000.
Now, how is this dispersed? In other words, how do people tap into this to get
It's,
paid for it?
it's paid to the state.
Or paid to the state.
Yeah, this is the Medicaid funding. So each county is responsible for a certain percentage of the Medicaid responsibility that the state of Florida has.
So people on Medicaid
Correct.
will receive some of these funds.
Well, if you're on Medicaid, this is how your Medicaid is funded. So this is the cost to Gilchrist County for Medicaid.
Oh, okay.
So,
This is usually paid to hospitals and that type of stuff, not paid directly.
Well, Ayers has Medicaid patients.
Yeah.
You know, right here.
yeah, I mean, I think that just in general, the state of Florida has a total Medicaid bill that's due every year. And then this piece is what Gilchrist has to pay in order to continue the Medicaid program.
Send that to the state.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's paid directly to the I believe several years ago, might have been 12 years ago, the state was trouble where they needed funding for Medicaid and started talking about taking the money out of shared revenue and just totally eliminating part of shared revenues. And of course, Fulton County, you know, that, we don't want part of that. So the agreement was, okay, we're not gonna reduce your revenue, but you're gonna have to pay it for Medicaid directly.
One of the concessions was that small counties in particular, they've done this in a gradient fashion so that it, like, initially, I think our bill was gonna be around this.
Yeah.
And then they you know, regrouped and they said, all right, you know, Gilchrist County this year is gonna have to pay $200,000 roughly. And this is what your increase is going to be. You know, they gave us like I think it was like a 10-year, you know, this is what, you know, every year, what your increase is. And now we're at almost $500,000.
Yeah, 10 years ago when they started this roughly, it's been roughly the 10-year course. I think now we had a flat rate of right around $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that rate didn't change. And then they went to this new, when they first did it, it was gonna go up 400 or 500%. And then they came back with a formula to increase it so along. So this is probably gonna continue to increase each year. So we need to try to, and that's what they did. They passed the cost on to the counties where the state was picking up the cost originally.
Well, Medicaid is a good program. It really is for the people who really need it. If they could get the fraud out of it. I was watching the news this week. They called a lady in California. She applied in 2016, was denied. She reapplied in 2019 and was given Medicaid. And they called her just this last week, she owns 6 businesses, which has, made her a profit of $9 million. And she's on Medicaid. So if they would cut that out,
Yeah.
we might not have to pay $500,000.
Yeah, there's way too much fraud in the one of those.
Way too much fraud.
Outside of the Medicaid, there's the Florida Healthcare, Respite Act, which basically it's based on our population. And again, the state basically says how much we're required to budget for that particular item. And then CPT medical exams, we're budgeting just under 5,000 for that.
Well, I do know that without the Medicaid program, there's a lot of people, that could not afford the level of health care that they receive. And when I say that, I'm talking about my whole family. My mom was at AIRS for 4 years.
Yeah.
And without Medicaid, she couldn't have been there. I mean, it's just $1,200, $1,500 a month to stay there. And to get the care that she needed, she couldn't have done it without Medicaid. So I'm not against it, it's just, like you
Yeah.
said, it's a $500,000 bill.
Yeah.
I think the last item that we have prepared to discuss is on page 154. It's the 911.
Way back there.
We did a lot today.
Let me go ahead and take this one.
Actually, 157, 157 in the book.
157?
No, I'm a 157.
It should actually be tabbed as well, it'd be near the back. I think of that 2915 or
Okay. Phone surcharge?
E911 wireless, yes. These, you wanna go ahead and take this one?
Yeah.
These, the funds for this come from your phone bills, that surtax that's on your phone bills. Our amount has increased quite a bit over the last 4 or 5 years. The funds do have a statute that tells you how you can spend them. We are a little bit fortunate in our community. They're usually only spent on, receiving of calls. But because we don't have a call center and a dispatch center, they allow us to use them because we have one center that accepts the calls and dispatches the calls. So these funds have been coming in. We also receive quite a bit of money in grants to operate this each year. They have about 3 grant cycles a year that pays for a lot of our software, sometimes hardware, different upgrades, and a lot of it is grant funded. But for the purpose of this, there's no funding coming out of your general budget to fund this account. I did add in a part-time position in here this year. Some of the reason being is we are needing to update our mapping. We need to finish getting our mapping program in. It'll help with our 911 addressing. And we have a system that we're working on that we got working, but we need to finish it. It's all grant funded. It is, what it does is basically Gilchrist County's Google Map. It's not shared with any of those big companies, but if you build a new house or we assign an address, as soon as we do it, it goes in there. So as soon as it's in there, if we had a 911 call there, immediately they could be dispatched and know where that address is or that location is. And then as we was talking yesterday, we needed to update our map to get some of our roads corrected and all. And I figured this would be a good department to do it out of. We're allowed to do it because it does have to do with dispatching. And it's all this money is provided through the surcharge. We also have to do basically a sheet each year when we apply for grants. And this is one of those, I don't like this term, but it's a term we gotta live with. If we don't use it, then we're supposed to return. So I figure if we have a need, we should try to use it.
This personnel services will come out of that grant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want, it'll come out of the surtax that comes off your bill. So I don't know if we should technically call that a grant. We do have grants that come in here also.
It's not that general.
No, ma'am, whether you take it out or you.
Who does that right now? Who does the?
Kevin Benson has been trying to help us with it now, doing our 911 addressing and trying to help with some of
So
this.
is he gonna
mapping.
continue to do that, or
Ma'am,
is he gonna continue to do that, or?
we hope so, but I haven't really discussed it with him. We need to find out about this position. He'll keep assigning our 911 addresses unless we feel, until we get this position, he may want this position actually, so.
Well, I notice here it says, in the past, I guess, transfer out of general fund $30,000 in 24, $30,000 in 25, and nothing in 26. So did we supplement that in 25?
That was for communication. So we pay the sheriff communication when we fund his office. But in order to help the general fund, there were communications fees that came from EMS, fire, road department, and 911 to kind of offset that communication cost. As far as, like Bobby said, dispatch. But when those funds sometimes don't have enough revenue coming in to
Supplement.
pay out, then we will back off of making that transfer, so that, you know, we're not hurting the fund in order to.
Our collections in over the last 3 years, just on the surtaxes, went probably from about 4,000, 5,000 a month, does that sound right, to 15,000 a month.
Yeah.
So that's been the increase.
Yeah. People do use their phones.
It doesn't matter how rich or how poor you are, you got a phone.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in, Seattle and we were walking through the homeless part of Seattle. And every one of the homeless people sleeping on the sidewalk had a phone, every one of them. And I'm like, here they are sleeping on the road, yeah, they got a phone.
Well, the good thing was, when they first started this program with the mobile phones,
Yeah.
it was kind of based on where you purchased the phone, whether Alachua County, Levy County, or whatever. Now they have a way that the reason we collect so much more, now they actually base it on where that call initiates or pings on that tower. So if you got your phone in Alachua County years ago, that money was gonna go over there, but now it's gonna go to whatever tower. So most of your calls are made right here within the county probably, so now we're getting paid for those calls.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that is all the departments that we had planned for this meeting. In conclusion, I think it needs to be referenced that at this point, we really haven't made a dent in our deficit. So, I mean, I think that we have to have some real conversations about where we're at. You know, our deficit right now is right at $1.3 million.
Well, that's what I was hearing you.
And that's at 8.7.
That's what I was hearing you saying. At 8.7, we're still 1.3 below where we need to be.
Does that include pay increases?
This does not have a pay increase included at this.
Does this include the loan?
This includes the road department loan? Yes, ma'am. It does.
How much of that loan does it include?
It's a $94,000
Okay, so
payment.
it's not the whole amount, then.
Right.
You're gonna get $400,000.
Yes, sir.
Will be recognized as debt service, proceeds. And then each year you'll pay out the 94,000, whatever.
Actually, I think it's 89,000.
I thought it was 96.
So the way I see it, you're telling us to come up with some way to find 1.3 just to balance it.
Yes.
Right, and again, you know, you have to figure out where we at on raises. You know, I think you have to figure out a way to do some sort of raise. You have to figure out what level that is. And, you know, I think that there is some opportunities for cuts, but again, it's a question of where and how much. You know, I think that's what you need to be thinking about between now and the next meeting.
Which is when, next Tuesday?
It's gonna be next Tuesday, the 12th at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but when you take somebody like your department, you showed us an increase, I mean,
A decrease.
decrease, I mean, what can I look for? Damon, had a decrease, what can I look for? I mean, I know there's other departments that ask for things, and I'm not saying they're not needed, it's just that was one of the reasons I was asking questions about Meridian and the redevelopment and all that, because if I'm looking for places to cut, then can I cut them 5% or 10%, or where can I find the 1.3? I mean, I gotta look for places to find it. I know the sheriff department has asked for an increase. Some other departments have, but
General government went up 258. Now what is that entitled again?
That's that payment.
Spring Ridge.
Okay. So we have, you know, we have this, the ones that went up, community development, code enforcement. I mean, do we just? And insurance. Okay, we're gonna do it.
Well, the one thing too about community development, I mean, we can try to look in there and see, but, the reason some of that went up is because of our services have went up. I think, and the good thing about community development, it does have an income of larger than what the expense is.
Can you look and see if you can cut anything out of it at least?
So we'll look and try, because, I mean, we've really tried to cut these budgets hard, just. That's what we have to be really careful with, really, because, you're only supposed to make a certain amount of money. Cannot be a profit.
right,
Thank you.
kinda like permitting, kinda like permitting, you know.
That's what it is.
Those enforcement fees that are,
What has to be spent there, or you reduce your fees.
right, you have to reduce your fee.
Yeah.
So we have law enforcement went up to, 393 and detention 353. Supervisor elections went up 38, it shows. Was that the increase for the new equipment?
Not 100% certain. She's actually coming to present on Tuesday. So you'll be able to ask those questions.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look to cut some, so we're gonna have to try to balance the budget a little bit better than what we're doing.
Agreed.
So that's our homework for the next meeting, Todd?
Yes, sir. It is.
And we'll meet again Tuesday at 3
We'll
o'clock.
meet again Tuesday at 3 o'clock. I believe we also have tentatively scheduled, prior to the next board meeting. I think we have a 3 o'clock. Yes, on the 18th, we also have a 3 o'clock in case we need to, kind of wrap up some things.
Yeah.
So I guess on the 12th, I mean, I think it would be very helpful if we're able to try and make some real progress, towards, you know, figuring out how we're going to trim this deficit. You know, also, like I say, trying to consider that, how do you give employees raises? So, yeah.
How many positions was the sheriff asking for? 3? 4.
Four.
I'd say cut 3 of them out. Might cut 4. Everybody else does with less people.
I don't know how much that would save. But like I told the sheriff, I'd rather him do his own cutting instead of me have to do it. But just make bad bedfellows when you get
Well,
there.
He said he would live with what we give him, which I understand that. If I give
Yeah.
my wife $20 to go buy groceries, she can't buy but $20 worth, cause that's all she's got.
I mean,
But I understand, I know last year he asked for an investigator and didn't get it. A couple other things, but,
But we did.
we are gonna have to cut. We're gonna have to cut.
They are.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. We may not have to cut them all, but we're gonna have to cut some. We just have to look for places that we can. The mandates, we can't. The requirements, we can't, but
You're looking at cutting that millage rate very much, you're looking a lot deeper.
well, right now, we can't cut it at all because we 1.3 in the hole.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't know where you don't save 1.3 million.
I don't see it here. The detentions and corrections, are that's pretty much set in concrete, are those fees that just are coming in, I mean, it's $353,000 more. I don't remember what the increase was, but that's a substantial increase,
Detention and correction,
yeah.
that's actually a decrease.
Minus 250.
Whoa, okay, I see that now. I'm just looking at the numbers.
That's because we don't have to pay for all those prisoners being in the house. and they're
Well,
all-
that's what I thought. We go through and see what the increases are.
Decrease.
Need to put the glasses back on and look at it.
Oh, detention and corrections, that's actually from the sheriff's office, the one you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There's his detention and corrections and our detention.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's actually the jail.
There's about a little over,
The detail over in there, about
800 now.
page, hold on. 85
It was,
is the salaries, he studies individual there, and there's
well, he already included the step, the 2%.
I think, yeah, he did include a step, he said.
He said,
That's
that
what he-
2% approximately.
but.
So that might be why
there's
some of the
one-
increase.
There's one open position he's got there, and I don't know what to do, I'm assuming you probably in themselves.
Is that open
Probably.
position in addition to the other 4 that he wants?
So there's one,
One
there's-
new, which is what he indicated in his letter,
yeah,
one corrections.
one correct.
The,
So that'd be 5 new people he was done.
no, he's asking for 4 new. The one that you see on the sheet is included in his letter. But that's also in addition to the new positions that were added this year.
Right, we added.
We added
And-
4 to
and-
our-
When you look at the sheet that Commissioner Smith did, the difference there, the increase, I believe that includes the 2.9, isn't that, last year's approved budget at the beginning of the year? So some of that increase is also money that you've already approved as, you know, by adding those positions at the jail this year, mid-year.
We had 3 or 4.
4.
For,
And he want.
The-
See, here's where you.
I think one of the questions that you have to look at on the sheriff's budget though is, like one of the differences, I guess you could say, between like, I think the other constitutionals that have presented so far, I can't speak for the supervisor because we don't know yet. But for myself, property appraiser, tax collector, I don't believe there was any type of salary increase. Whereas the sheriff's office, part of that increase does already include the step. You know, he mentioned it doesn't have cost of living, but it does have a step increase within the request. So, you know, when we consider the raises typically are double what the board number is, it's probably going to be less than that now because some of that's already embedded in the request for the sheriff.
Especially if the FRS money's calculated already, and that's a huge.
He's included FRS in his.
Correct.
Yeah.
Todd, can y'all estimate, Richard gave us the number for 1%. You could just double that for 2%, but, estimate the constitutional minus the sheriff's 2% and come up with a number, which is probably gonna be around 300 something thousand, right? No.
Probably so. I mean, I would say between now and Tuesday, if the board would like us to, we can go, if you would tell us what you'd like to find out, we can,
Do 1%
Get those numbers.
so we can see both.
so 1% and 2% from the constitutionals,
State, I think, is doing 2%.
they are.
There's probably enough detail in there that I.
Of the ones that are an increase, are there any that we really just can't touch at all? I mean, if there's some, I mean, I'd like to know which ones we can wiggle and which ones we can. If there's some that are, they're mandates, well, then I'm, no sense trying to figure out we can make a cut on a mandate. And I went through and marked the ones that have an increase. I was just wondering if any of those that are on the increase are mandates, like is mental health mandated, or is
Code
it,
enforcement.
or is there
That's
room
true.
to wiggle with it?
You can cut it. Is that Meridian? You talking
No, it just says mental health. It doesn't really say Meridian itself.
That's
It's just
Meridian.
mental health on here. It's not a big increase. It's $2,000, but.
Can we cut the
Is it
$2,000?
one that we can't wiggle, or is it one we can?
I think that's actually flat. I think that might be a typo.
I think that was.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I think that's actually flat.
Yeah, that could be an error on the person.
Yeah, there was a
Oh,
couple
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it is flat when you look at the number,
Somebody
well,
was-
it went from 63 to 65.
What about veteran service? Is there any way we
Veteran
could cut that? It went up 11,000?
Okay,
That's an error.
okay, that's an error, okay. I didn't think she'd gone up, but then when I saw it
You
on
mean
here, I
code
thought,
So-
enforcement,
He's done
veteran
the same for
services.
3 years in a row.
yeah.
So we haven't actually looked at veterans yet, but, I think we were gonna do that next meeting, but
Well, some of the reason why veteran service went up is just to be able to, have additional time there if we needed. It used to be, I think, based on 24, and we based it on 30 hours now. And that was people wanted us to provide, a year or so back of, a little bit more service. To tell you truthfully, the way, Mr. Hudson works at, it's just a cushion in there, so it probably could be pulled out.
Pull that out then, yes, if we can.
He's not requesting those extra hours.
Pull it
The
out.
only reason he was doing it was just to help the veteran, But it's basically his office hours are still the same, but he goes to homes and does some things to try to help.
Bobby, is there any way, and cause so that's something we can pull out, but can you look at each one of ours that's increased that we have control of and tell us how we can cut some of it? So we can take veteran service out, that's 11,000.
Well, I don't know if it'll be the whole 11,000. I need to go back through it.
Okay.
yeah. How about,
I mean,
what,
there may be an increase somewhere else. It's
We'll,
$500
we'll get together between now and the next workshop and see if we can squeeze some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I do want, and I'm not saying this just to be, but I want everybody to understand. We went through all these numbers, all four of us together, and we squeezed them pretty tight to start with. I'm not saying we can't go back
Do it again.
and find a few more things.
But you're not gonna
But
find one.
it's not-
I agree.
That's
I
my
mean,
point here. I'm saying it's not gonna be a landslide.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, as we've gone through each individual department, I've marked a few that I think we can possibly
Yeah.
look at, but I haven't seen a ton.
Okay, well.
I have
a
not
little
seen a
bit
million.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a little bit helps. At least we're doing our part.
How much was our ad valorem revenue? I know it was about 11 last year. Is it about 13 this year?
13 million roughly.
13017.
So that's
That's
filled in here?
8.7.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That 13 million is based on the increase in property values at 8.7.
You know, and I know Mr. Newton's talked about this, and this is kind of the opposite of what we don't want to keep doing. With some cuts and maybe, you know, let's try to get some pay increases in there. And then we may have to look into our fund balance a little bit this year to finish balancing it out. You know, or and I agree with him, it's not something you want to do every year because then your fund balance starts going down and you don't have a fund balance. But this might be one of those years that we have to look towards that just a little bit and just see, so.
Well, again, you know, as I mentioned before, the challenge in that is that when we start utilizing fund balance for recurring expenses, next year you have to have a new revenue or you're doing the same thing. Because this year we mentioned $500,000 of our budget is increases that well, part of it, I guess, that 500,000 was raises, that we were talking about, you know, board raises, plus FRS plus health insurance increases was $500,000. So you can assume next year there's about $500,000 in additional expenses that you don't have a lot of control outside of the raises. I mean, you can determine not to do a raise, but, you just, you know, there's certain expenses that are going to automatically increase. And if you're utilizing your fund balance in order to fund those, it's a bad policy. It's a road that's going to lead to financial distress. So, I mean, that's my caution, is that this year, you know, we're reducing fund balance by over $2 million. And, you know, if we budget to reduce it again by another, let's say $1.5 million, $2 million, we're quickly depleting what at one point was considered, we had an excessive fund balance. And very quickly, we're taking care of that. So.
Figure out how to cut then.
And we've already cut the millage rate at 8.7,
Well, that was the tentative.
That was
Yeah.
tentative, I mean,
but we can't go up.
We knew.
Right, we go down.
That's what I'm saying, we can't go up.
You can't go up.
Okay, and I'm not going up. no.
Or let me rephrase that. You can go up, but you're
No.
gonna have to start all over. And basically, we're gonna have to start out the fiscal year at rollback and then figure it out.
No,
Right. Don't wanna do that.
I want to go down a little bit to help the taxpayers.
Okay, anything else that needs to be discussed?
Is there gonna be any meetings in here, so we can leave our books in here?
Monday night is the city meeting.
I'll just-
Monday night, City of Trenton.
Yeah.
Lay it right
Yeah.
back there, but on that one.
That's the cleaning.
Well, I need to bring, look at, we're supposed to come back.
That's the cleaning rate.
Yeah, we need to probably take a moment and try to look at how ways to cut stuff.
Motion. We got a motion to adjourn, do I have a
Okay,
second?
second.
Second, okay, motion to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.